Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face and welcome back to this Williams Motorsport Manager career. We're back today with round 15, the Brazilian Grand Prix in Rio de Janeiro. Hopefully today we're going to get to see and get a good idea of where our car is at the moment. Obviously we got a pretty good idea of where the car was at in the last race in Phoenix. We had a pretty good Grand Prix, but right at the start, around, you start the race around here, around about here, Esteban Ocon ran wide. He was high up the order. He dropped all the way to 20th place. He managed to recover really well throughout that race. Finished the race 5th overall, and an absolutely amazing recovery from him. But obviously, it didn't give us too much of an idea of where we're at as compared to the other front runners around us. It was just a race of getting ourselves back to the top. Hopefully we're going to get a good idea here at Rio de Janeiro, because the top speed, the engine is crucial here. It's going to be a little bit of a rainy race. We can usually make that work to our advantage during the race, so hopefully we're going to have a good race here. It wasn't our best of races last season. The engine is still currently rated the best, whether Ferrari or Mercedes introduce another upgrade here, but we're 8 days out from the Rio de Janeiro Grand Prix, and that is because we've got a new vote started here, which is we're going to be voting on short practice sessions. I actually want this vote to go through, so I'm actually going to vote for it. I'll just use 2, I'm going to hold 1 back, so I'm going to vote for it. I want to vote for this rule just because I feel the AI during the practice sessions, because they're quite long at the moment, they're on the longest setting at 45 minutes. I feel during the practice sessions they're just wasting too many tyre compounds, and as we've seen before, some of the teams are starting the race on used tyres, so we don't want that to happen. So we're just going to vote for, hopefully this gets voted through. We'll just conclude 8 votes to 3, so we're going to get shorter practice sessions next season. So hopefully some of the things that we see the AI doing as regards to their tyre compounds, that's going to be sorted out next season, because they're not going to waste this tyre. We've got this new design of the brakes built here, so we're just going to get working on that. This new brakes build can get up to a 1091. And that's the same again. It said it could get a little bit higher than that. So I've just basically wasted time doing that, haven't I? We're going to get working on it anyway, so then at least we've got 2 brakes that are comparable at the start of next season. It's going to take 41 days until that's ready. When is the last race of the season here? 42 days after that race, so we've got about 49 days, so we don't really have enough time to really work on another part if we want to get these all fully upgraded, which I want to do since they're the worst parts in the car at the moment. So if I want to build something else, like I wanted to build another suspension before the end of the season, I'm going to have to go with parts that don't need actual work in the garage. So a plus 25, a plus 40, no, we haven't got much room here, have we? A plus 25 and a plus 60, and we don't have the handling center, but we could have add another 20 to this. But as it is, it's quite an improvement, although there's still some there that needs working on. But it would get us to a 1041. What is the suspension like at the moment in the car? We have a 993, so it's still an improvement. Is that 1041, even if we don't get the time to work on it? So that is what we'll go for here, 1041. We'll get that building. Maybe we'll still have time to work on some others as well that can show improvements towards the end of the season. And there we go, the brakes build finished. We've got the reliability finally done on the engine. And if we just switch back over here, so we're just working on that still. 41 days after the race, as it should be. I think we've got it set up the best way. 41 days yet, neither of those introduce anything new. So we're just about to get into the race. The handling development center has just been built as well, so that means we're going to be able to build another suspension with an epic part as well in the car. So hopefully we're going to get working on that after this as well. So we should see our suspension somewhere up here hopefully, and we know the gearbox and brakes can get up there before the end of the season and be really strong for our FW43 car next season. So hopefully we can get that going here. We've still got the same parts in the car as I've explained before. They are equal. For some reason Sirotkin's not as happy as Ocon is. But anyway, we're going to jump in. Practice as usual. We'll be off camera and we'll be back to run qualifying. First qualifying lap for Sirotkin is about to get underway. We've got some cars out on the ultra soft, some on the intermediates. It's raining. The rain's going to stop for the end of the session, so we're going to get some actual dry laps in here. But Sirotkin does pretty decently with the temperatures. Last season, the pole lap here in Brazil was a 118.3 from Sebastian Vettel. Our guys, Robert Kubica, qualified 18th last season on a 119.6, and Sergey was 20th place with a 119.8. We won't get a good idea of whether we've improved on that until the end of this session, obviously, because the track is wet at the moment, but hopefully we're going to improve over the 18th and 20th where we came on the qualifying grid last season. But here we go. We're not going to get a good idea from any of this because everyone's on different stages of the track being wet, different tyres. But Sorokin goes 4th overall, slowly moving down the order. Ocon goes slightly quicker than him by about 5/100ths of a second. So we're currently pretty high up the order. We've got Hamilton, Danny Rick, Nico and Roman Grosjean out of order at the moment because they came out on the Ultras for some reason. And we're still waiting for Perez and Billy Johnson to finish their laps. So after the first stint, we're 5th and 6th. Obviously a lot of these cars, like the Force Indias, the Haas cars, they're going to come out again really early whilst the track's still wet. But we'll be coming out at the end of the session with the Mercedes, the Ferraris, the Renault. They'll all be coming out at the end of the session, and hopefully we're going to see some improvement on our times from last year. We know we're possibly going to be top 10 here, so we'll be back and we'll see how we do in the second stint, second qualifying lap. So here we go with our dry qualifying lap. As I said, last season's pole position was a 118.3. The quickest lap done so far is by Sebastian Vettel, who did a 118.0, which was on the intermediate tyre, I think. He went even quicker than that. And we did a 118.7 on our first run on the Inters, which was quicker than the 119.6. So maybe last year's qualifying was done on a intermediate tyre. I can't actually quite remember. Should have checked whether that was done on an intermediate tyre. But however it is, we're a lot quicker here. If we can stay around this order now, hopefully we're going to be maybe top 8 with both cars. That is something that could happen here. There's not many other cars running. Obviously Hamilton and Danny Rick are way out of position here, but Sergey Sorokin's going to come round. What's his lap time going to be? He's a 115, 116, 117. Moves up into 3rd place with a 117.9. Ocon's going to come across the line. He should be quicker. He does. He goes 2nd, but he's going to get pushed down as Vettel comes around. Maybe Ricciardo's going to be quicker than him. Has Ocon got a top 3 finish here? Ricciardo goes... Where did Ricciardo go? Ricciardo goes 6th, so Ocon quicker than the 2nd Ferrari and 2nd Mercedes here. Ocon with a really quick lap, 0.27 seconds behind the front row of the grid. 1/10 off the front row of the grid here. Absolutely amazing lap from him. So I'm guessing the lap times last season, the 118.3 and our 119.6 were done on a dry tyre compound, because that sort of leap forward, the 1.3 seconds, does seem to be what all the cars have let forward this season. Obviously we've made a bigger step forward than that, getting ourselves up into 3rd and 10th on the grid, considering we came 18th and 20th last season. So here we go with the grid for the 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, they're locked in this fight for the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton's 21 points ahead of Sebastian Vettel at the moment. Vettel, though, has closed the gap from 75 points to that 21 points, so Vettel is hoping to get in front of Lewis Hamilton and close that gap a little bit more heading into the final 2 races. Esteban Ocon, his best, our best in this Williams team, 3rd on the grid here. Hopefully he's going to have a good start. Valtteri Bottas 4th in the Ferrari, Kevin Magnussen 5th in the Mercedes, Danny Rick in the Red Bull 6th. Max Verstappen still got whiplash, he's 7th, just behind his teammate. Kimi Räikkönen, even though his stats are dropping, doing really well still in that McLaren, 8th place, 1 place ahead of his teammate as usual. Even though Van Dorn's a 4-star rated driver and Kimi's might be almost touching a 3 now. I think it was a 3.5 the last time I looked. He's still ahead of Van Dorn here. Sergey Sorokin cracks the top 10 in the Williams car, 0.8 seconds or almost 9/10 of a second down on the leader. Felix Rosenqvist in the Renault 11th. Charles Leclerc, decent qualifying from him in that Sauber 12th. Sergio Perez 13th in the Force India. Carlos Sainz 14th in the Haas. Nikita Mazepin right off form here. 15th, Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso. 16th, Marcus Ericsson off the back row of the grid for once. 17th, Grosjean underperforming in the Haas. He's usually a little bit higher. 18th, Nico Hülkenberg caught out totally by the rain, it seems. He's all the way down in 19th place in that Renault, and bringing up the rear is Billy Johnson, the American, in that Toro Rosso. So hopefully we're going to get a good start here. We might even switch to attack mode. if we see that we're getting a decent start, we're away pretty well. So let's turn this up. We've got Bottas going up the inside of us, and we've dropped places there. We've had Ricciardo, we've had the Mercedes, and we've had a Ferrari get in front of us. So we're just going to turn down here. We don't want to risk this car too much because Ocon's just falling behind here. We've got rain sort of around. I mean, it's not that wet, the track, but everyone's out on intermediates. It is a lap around lap 8 and a period sort of, it looks around, that could be to around lap 8-12, where there's a possibility that a dry tyre compound would work, but then the rain looks to go away totally from lap 25. But as it is, Sorokin's lost his places as well. He's down from 10th to 13th here in the early going. He's not having the best of times either. I think the weather's still pretty hot here, so we're going to have to look at, well, we don't have to really look after these intermediate tyres. Just depends what everyone's going to do around lap 8. I don't think people are going to come in for a dry tyre compounds because it's going to cost you too much time in the pits just to do that. So we're going to have to do 2 stints here on the intermediate and then hope to get on maybe the ultra soft to finish the race on. That is the plan at the moment. We're still 6th place. We're starting to catch this pack of cars up that are in front of us after falling behind in the early going. So we're just going to try hang on to these cars. And Sorokin is currently 11th. He's got the Force India of Perez, who's made a really good start in front of him, and Stoffel van Dorn is behind him. So are we catching back up here? We're almost back on the back of this Mercedes now, so we can start thinking about turning up a little bit and try and make a move on these cars as they're sort of squabbling as Ricciardo and Magnussen are fighting amongst themselves. Let's see if we can get the move on Magnussen. We know we've got a better engine than Magnussen, possibly by quite a bit depending on how the Mercedes have staggered their engine parts. Hamilton will be pretty close to us in terms of engine power, but we know we've got a really good engine in this Williams car still, and our tyres are overheating a little bit now, so we're going to turn down. We're going to start backing up with Sorokin. We're going to leave him for later on in the race. He's managed to get past Sergio Perez. He's got Felix Rosenqvist in front of him in the Renault. We're just going to try and cool down for a little bit here, and then we can get some more performance back into these tyres and maybe push in a few laps time. We're still right on the back of Kevin Magnussen. Even though he's pushing that Mercedes, we're managing to hang on to him here. And we might as well recover some fuel. And we've got Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo has just crashed there. He's put the car into the tyres. And that moves us up into 5th. So Sorokin now up into 9th. He's just only got a yellow flag out on track. No safety car. And we're about halfway to the point where the rain is going to ease off for a few laps. Don't think it's going to be worth it though to get into the pits. We're dropping about a second behind Magnussen, although we're just waiting for our second phase of pushing here. So Sorokin's about to lose some places, so we'll try and get him pushing again here. We do have a little bit more fuel to spare. We'll give him the opportunity to push and to stay in front of Van Dorn and Perez, who are putting him under pressure. So we'll get pushing with him early on here, whereas we're just hanging on to about a second behind Kevin Magnussen at the moment, who's conserving his tyres at the moment. We're going to wait until we get right back into optimum temperature before we start pushing this tyre again though. And Sorokin's starting to pull away from that McLaren and the Force India behind him, so we're going to turn back down now. Just get him to keep going and get him at least up into the points, keep him around these lower point area. That would be a good result for Sorokin here. Ocon though, hopefully we're going to see if we can catch up to Kevin Magnussen once we start turning this engine up. As it is, we're almost back there. Maybe once we finish this lap, once we start to hit this long straight, we're going to turn the tyres up, we're going to turn the engine back up. Not even, oh, who's this coming up behind us? We've got Raikkonen and Verstappen coming up quickly on the back of us here, so we're going to go now. We're about to approach this straight. We're 2.3 seconds behind Magnussen now. If we start pushing this car, we're going really quick as we go down and around into this left-hander. We're now 1.9 seconds behind. So Sorokin is still cooling his tyres down. He's got Van Dorn right on his tail here, so we're going to give him a little bit more room to push, and Van Dorn is going to make that move. And we'll give Sorokin the opportunity to try fight back. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that stick though. We'll just keep him going though, because we can get him off this tyre. We'll just keep him open, because if anyone's going to come off this tyre, we'll respond with Sorokin. It doesn't look like anyone's going to respond to this little period of dry weather, and we'll just keep pushing here. We're 1.1 seconds behind Kevin Magnussen now. We did a 122.1 to the 123, so about a second quicker than Mercedes there. But obviously we can just start thinking about getting off this tyre sometime pretty soon. This tyre can go a long way if we go through the next one for 24 laps, so if we can get this tyre to about lap 13 maybe, then we're in a good position. So we'll start conserving a little bit. We're right on the back of Kevin Magnussen almost now, and we'll keep Sorokin just conserving here. Has he managed to get back past Van Dorn? He has. Whilst we were looking at Ocon, he's managed to get back past Van Dorn, but there we go. Who's that? Carlos Sainz going up the inside of Van Dorn, managed to get that move on him. And we'll just cool these tyres down. We'll try and do it a little bit rapidly. We need to get them out of this zone where they're running too hot at the moment. So we'll just speed up as these tyres cool down. Ocon, we're going to start forward behind Kevin Magnussen because we've got no chance of keeping up with him when we're just trying to keep these tyres cool. These inters can get down to 10% though, so I'm guessing we can still do another 2 laps if we just put these tyres back into neutral. Yes, we know you've got worn tyres, Esteban. And if we just put these back into neutral now, and we just run like this until we decide to do our first pit stop of the race. I'm guessing everyone else has pretty much used the tyres the same as we have. The track is dry at the moment, so if we see anyone come into the pits now, the AI is possibly going to mistake this for wet or dry tyre. As we see Kevin Magnussen come into the pits, what's he going to come out on? That is going to be the question. He's going to be stuck. No, he's come out for that intermediate, for a fresh intermediate, which is what we thought would happen. I'm thankful that the AI didn't make the mistake that they sometimes do. They see the track is dry. Thankfully it wasn't fully dry. Otherwise we might have been seeing them come out on a dry tyre compound. But we're going to get into the pits this lap. This tyre is almost absolutely shredded. We've got bald spots on the tyre. It's graining, it's tearing up. So let's get the inters on. We've got a little bit of a risk here, but we've got fully low, but there's a mistake chance on a few, but hopefully we're not going to get any mistakes from anyone here. I'm guessing Magnussen's going to have used the undercut on us. He's going to be possibly further in front of us, but we're going to get everyone into the pits, although we've got, who's that staying out? That is Valtteri Bottas staying out. What's his tail like? He's still at 19%, so he's done a good job of looking after that. Our pit stops are nice and quick, so we're not going to double stack here. We get into the pits and straight back out. So rocking into the pits and straight back out. Decently done there from both cars, and we've got room to push with the fuel here for this first lap. We've tried not to push the tyres here. Oh, did we have a mistake there? Did that say mistake, or is it just because we lost places? But we can push now with the fuel in overtake mode. Maybe a couple of laps here. So we're currently in 9th and 13th place. Everyone's sort of out of order because of the pit stop, but we're not going to push this tyre this time around. We do want it to go far enough until, when's that going to stop? Maybe lap 23. So once we start getting into the latter end of this stint, that is when we're going to go and push these tyres. We're just going to bide our time at the moment, as we're 5th now. A lot of cars have started to come into the pits, so we're going to see our cars go back into where they were before. 5th and 9th both got a McLaren behind them. So Rotkin's got Rosenquist in front of him. Ocon, he's done a good job of chasing down here. We're on a fresher tyre. And are we going to go any quicker? Let's just see what the lap times are like this time around. So we'll speed up until we do this lap. And there we go. So we're doing a 121 to Magnussen's 124. Are we really that much quicker than Kevin Magnussen here? Should we push these tyres a little bit and start to catch him up? Possibly just because we're pushing the fuel at the moment. We're going to have to go into recovery mode pretty soon, but we're getting right on the back of him here. 1.2 seconds, although it looks like K-Mag has. And what was that warning for? It's low fuel delta, I think, because we've gone to the 1. And we'll start recovering now. We don't want these tyres to overheat. We're going to try catch Kevin Magnussen on the next round, the pit stops. I think that's all we can do. But 5th is going to be a really good finish if we can get both cars into the points, considering last season both our cars were outside the points. If we can get up into the points in this race, it will be a result. It will show a massive improvement in our team. And then if we can build on this into going into next season, we're going to be in a really strong position. So as it is, we're just cooling down these tyres, and we'll get back into neutral now. We'll keep pushing. We'll go ahead and just recover the fuel here, so then we've got some room to go back into push mode towards the latter end of the Grand Prix. If we just recover all this fuel in the interim, we're starting to fall behind Kevin Magnussen again a little bit now. He's about a second quicker than us. Just depends who's pushing what lap to what, but in neutral, although he keeps slowing down as well and trying to cool these tyres down. So let's just see what we're like off this lap of 123, pretty much matching each other there. So we're about, well, just gone past halfway in this Grand Prix. 5th and 9th at the moment now, just waiting for this rain to stop. and then hopefully we can try chase down this Mercedes in front. So Rocking, I don't think we've got any real chance of catching the Renault in front. We're back on lap 22 now. Kevin Magnussen has come into the pits really early, as has Raikkonen and Verstappen. They're getting onto the dry tyre compound really early in this race now. So we're going to get to attacking on this tyre, and we're going to run high mode, and we're just going to try and open up these gaps as much as we can just whilst the track's still wet. There's about another lap that we can do here whilst the track's wet. Kevin Magnussen shredded through his intermediate tyre, went through it really quickly. Hamilton has just set the quickest lap as the track starts to dry off. So we're currently running third here. Bottas has pitted as well for some reason, even though he had life in that intermediate, possibly seeing something out on track and maybe thinking that he could get it through. But as it is, we're going to get our pit stop set up this time around. Ocon goes quickest in the first sector here, and the track's pretty much dried off now. So we've got 11 laps remaining. It's still a little bit risky to go for that ultra soft, isn't it? It might not quite make it 10 laps, even though it can do 9 to 11. Should we risk the ultra? It would mean running in conserve mode, but we would get a quick boost whilst the track grip is pretty low. And yeah, we'll go for the ultras. We need as much grip as we can whilst the track is starting to dry up and get a bit of rubber back down on it. We can't do that with Sergey because those ultras are going to run out, so he's going to have to come out on the super softs. We'll get him in and out of the pits as well this lap. Anyway, so Ocon goes quicker in the second sector as well. He's not going to get to set the quickest lap because he's coming into the pits. So unfortunately, he's not going to get the fastest lap because he's into the pits and out without a mistake. And we're just going to have to turn this down so we don't waste this, and we'll push for high mode a little bit here. So we're out into fourth. We've managed to get in front of Kevin Magnussen, who's on the hardest tyre compound. So Rocky, meanwhile, has moved himself up to 8th place there. We're going to get him like that. He's managed to get in front of Rosenquist here, who is he pushing at the moment? Rosenquist is pushing, so we're going to have to try and respond to that at the moment. Can we respond in time? Are we going to stay ahead of Rosenquist here? We are, and we're just going to go high and medium. We don't want to go through this tyre too quickly, and we've got to try and recover this fuel as well. But Ocon is managing to stay of Kevin Magnussen here. He's opened up about a 1 second gap on this ultra soft tyre. We don't want it getting too hot, so we're going to have to look after it and manage it throughout the latter part of this Grand Prix. Whereas Sorotkin's tyre, his tyre is getting a little bit hot here now, but he's opened up this 1 second gap over Felix Rosenquist now, so he's moved up the order as well. Meanwhile, we're just recovering the fuel as well. So Ocon, as we see, Magnussen is all the way down the road there, 2.5 seconds behind now. He just went over, he's falling behind rapidly here. Magnussen in low mode on that tyre for some reason, even though that soft could get through to the end of the race. I'm guessing he's overheated it in trying to keep up with Esteban, and we're just conserving this as well. Maybe we can go back to neutral with Sergey, and whilst we've got this gap over Kevin Magnussen, we might as well try and cool this tyre down. I don't think we've got any real chance of catching, although we do have a chance of catching Vettel if we keep it in neutral, haven't we? But we're going to have to try recover this fuel now with Ocon as well. So if we see what we're like off, not this lap, but the next lap, if we just go around, Vettel did a 120. We're a little bit quicker than, well, I'm not saying that, it's a red car. It's the Ferrari of Bottas in front. We're about 1/10 of a second quicker. What are we going to be like? We're just going to start falling behind as he pushes that tyre maybe. Can we catch him back up? 4.2, 4.3. I don't think we're going to be able to catch him. So there's no point in trying to push his tyre. What we have to do is keep Kevin Magnussen behind us. That is the objective now for this Grand Prix. As that last lap when we do a about half a second quicker, we're still in with a chance of catching Bottas. We're not actively really going to chase it, but if we can do it, we don't have any real room to push with the fuel though, or the tyres. So we just have to sort of hold off here. So Rocky, meanwhile, has got this gap of Felix Rosenquist now to 3.5 seconds. He's 2.6 behind Max Verstappen. I don't think we're about a second quicker than Verstappen, so that would be chaseable as well. But Verstappen's tyres are going to start to go, but he's pushing. We can get back up here a little bit. We want to cool these tyres down though, so we can have one last push towards the end of the Grand Prix. And we'll do the same with Ocon, so we can push for the last couple of laps with him as well. So if we just cool these down, we're going to fall behind Bottas a little bit further, unless Bottas is cool. No, Bottas is in full recovery mode. and Max is as well, almost. He's on the tyres at least, so we've got a little bit of an opportunity to chase down the cars in front. So should we go for it with Ocon? We'll go for it. We'll see if we can gain these places quickly here. Bottas's tyre is running out, so can we chase down Bottas here? So Rotkin, meanwhile, will get him back into attack mode. He's back in high mode. It's 2.2 seconds behind Verstappen, so can we catch either of these cars? Ocon 2 seconds behind Bottas. It looks like we're starting to slow down here. These tyres are going to start going as well. They can only go to 25%, so these tyres are almost dead on the car of Ocon. We're going to have to look after him in low mode. We can't do it with Ocon yet. We know we're possibly going to lose 4th place. Ocon, we shouldn't have gone. We shouldn't have chased down Bottas. Although it doesn't really matter what we do because we've got our 4th place and the Constructors pretty much guaranteed. But we can chase down Max Verstappen here with Sergei Sorokin. Can Sergei pull off an amazing coup here by managing to pass Max Verstappen? Max Verstappen's fitness is possibly down because he's got whiplash. Sorotkin's now right on the back of him. Can he get the inside line? He can. Has he got the run on him here? Is this Red Bull engine strong enough to keep us behind? It doesn't look like it. So Rotkin is going to make the move. He's got the inside line. Max Verstappen goes deep into the corner, gets the run, and then the inside line manages to hold Sorotkin off here as they're about to go into their final lap. This tyre of Ocon has totally faded now, although he's far enough ahead of Kevin Magnussen, hopefully, that it's not going to affect him. Sorotkin now, he had his chance to get past Verstappen. It looks like he's not going to do it, although he might get one last chance around the last part of this Grand Prix. Ocon still ahead of Magnussen by this 5.5 seconds. It looks like he's going to be able to hold this, even though this tyre has pretty much gone here. 5.4 is Magnussen, and just focus here back on Sorotkin. Sorotkin's going to try go around the outside, can't make it stick. Can he switch to the inside here? He's got the inside line on this corner. Can he get a better run? No, he can't. And that was a point last time where Max managed to pull away. These tyres of Ocon has gone. Kevin Magnussen starting to catch up a little bit, and the tyres have totally shot. He tries to cut the corner, but no. Ocon can't hold on to that 4th place. It ran out just before the end, and it looks like the tyres of Max Verstappen have gone. Sorotkin's made that move, and Sorotkin's tyres have gone as well. He made that move as he slowed down, but Max managed to get him right back on the line. Was it his fuel? Was it the fuel that ran out? We kept him going to try and get him past Max. He managed to make it. He switched focus back to Ocon, but right on the line there, 5th and 8th. Not too bad here. We pushed all out to try and gain those couple of places. We couldn't get Ocon quite. Well, we managed to get him past Magnussen in chasing down Valtteri Bottas, though we ended up losing out to Magnussen. Just trying as much as we can to push sort of at the moment, because it doesn't really matter what we do in the races at the moment. We pick up 14 points, which is more than enough for us here. Obviously, we're ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, we're ahead of Max Verstappen with Esteban Ocon, which is what he needs. As long as we're doing that, that keeps Esteban Ocon in this 3rd place. He was in front of Kevin Magnussen as well, who he's ahead of. So 2 races left. Ocon is 7 points ahead. He's potential of holding on to this 3rd place, which I didn't think was possible. Sergei's still in the top 10 here, which he's looking like he will be able to finish there. He's got a 20-point gap over Sergio Perez. Kimi Raikkonen might be able to get him before the end of the season. We're still 4th. We don't have any real chance of chasing down the Red Bulls. Obviously, McLaren have got no chance of catching us. So I'm pretty happy with that race. It's going to show that we're going to have a really good season next season, hopefully mixing it up with some of the cars around the top of the order, because we came 3rd overall there. If we've got the option of surpassing Red Bull maybe next season, that would be absolutely amazing. We make £745,000 because what is that from? Did we get a little bit more from the sponsor? Did we get some money from PNC? Yes, we did, for qualifying 3rd or above with Esteban Ocon. Unfortunately, we didn't get there in the race either. We could have had 1.2 million coming into the bank, or would it been another 2? Yeah, it would have been another 250,000. We would have just been shy of the £1 million mark. But anyway, we get money into the bank there. And Vettel, who actually won that race, we didn't actually look at who actually won that race. So Sebastian Vettel won. So the standings have closed up a little bit more here. 14 points. If Vettel wins the next 2 races and Hamilton finishes second in those 2 races, we will have a tie at the end of the season, and it will possibly be given to Vettel since he's won more races and at that point would have won more races. Hamilton and Vettel, the only people this season to win races. Vettel 8, Lewis Hamilton 7. They're the only 2 drivers that have won races this season. Hopefully we can shake that up a little bit more next season with Esteban Ocon and whoever our other driver will be next season. If you haven't already voted, there will be a vote in the comments and in the description where you can go ahead and vote on who you think our driver should be next season. But anyway, Aston Martin dribble, Daniel Ricciardo, a bit of a disaster. We'll just say this one because that will butter him up. Obviously he's too expensive for us to bring into the Williams team at this stage until we can start being right up at the top of the order, and knowing that we're going to get the prize money if we can work out the finances next season. Although depending on who the driver is next season, our driver lineup might not change for the next 3 seasons or so. As it is, our engine is still the best, and we're going to be able to see Ferrari or Mercedes improve their engines in between this race and Dubai and maybe to Phoenix. But engine is crucial for the next 2 races as well, so we're on good form here for the next 2 races as well to see where the car is at. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Only 2 more races this season to go. There will be one tomorrow, which I'm recording this on the Saturday. This will be up on the Sunday, possibly after the German Grand Prix. Anyway, you'll know when this has gone up because I'm just talking to myself the day before the German Grand Prix here. And we'll have one up on Monday, season finale Tuesday, and then the new season will start this coming Wednesday. Excited for that, excited to see who our new driver is, excited to see what shake-ups we're going to get in the driver market, excited to see where our car is going to be next season. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Leave a comment, like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, vote on the new driver for next season, all the usual stuff. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Dubai for the next Grand Prix, and goodbye.